Hi, my name's Eleri Griffiths. I graduated from the documentary photography course in 2004. I think my happiest, or perhaps obviously my earliest memories were in the first year. My favourite brief would have been person at work. It was really like becoming a professional photographer, being handed a brief for the first time and going out into Newport. Of course, the people of Newport are used to being photographed on a daily basis, so we were probably more nervous about going to ask them if we could photograph them than they were of being photographed. I think I must have developed 5 rolls of film in my first day. I bought a new dev tank for the occasion. I could barely lift it. It was the first time that I'd ever had to develop so many rolls of film in one go. Clive Landon was my personal tutor. He was such an inspiration. I remember sitting down with him in tutorials. He'd look at a contact sheet and he could tell almost straight away sort of what mood you were in while you were taking the photographs, whether you'd engaged properly with the person that you were talking to, if you'd really been concentrating. He was very canny. I was in the seminar group G to F, so I shared tutorials with people like James Heffron and Richard Gilligan and Maxine Frodsham and Peter Haig. They were all great allies in the first year. The seminar groups are a great way of sharing work, especially when you're not feeling particularly confident and you don't quite know whether you're going in the right direction. The really terrifying bit about being in the first year especially was at the review in the Herd Gallery, HHC, where we had to pin the work up on the wall, and people like Paul Seawright and Ken Grant would come around and tell you your photographs were rubbish, or maybe they were quite good but you needed to do a lot more work. What did Newport teach me? Newport taught me pretty much everything I needed to know about documentary photography. If there was anything lacking in my education, then it was through my own fault and not the university's. I suppose maybe since leaving Newport, the one thing I understand now is that photography can be a very lonely profession without the support of your tutors. I suppose they're still there in your head, but it doesn't really feel the same. Although strictly speaking, I'm not a documentary photographer. I work in a more editorial capacity for interiors magazines. I maintain my own documentary portfolio. I've recently been out to Romania and have returned from South Africa within the last couple of weeks. I was very privileged to have been working with some students from a school in Menenberg, which is in Cape Town, which is just outside Cape Town, in one of the townships there. Menenberg is a very violent area. It has a reputation for gang culture, teenage pregnancies, rape, violent crime. So I took some disposable cameras with me and instructed the students how to use them. Of course, while I was talking to the students about doing this project, I immediately started to refer back to my own experience at Newport. I found myself saying things like, perhaps you need to think about getting an establishing shot. You might like to consider the relationships of the people that you're photographing. It all just came back to me. Basically, I just copied everything that I was taught in the first year. So ultimately, I'd like to say thank you to Newport, to all the teaching staff and technical staff who've helped me along the way. I hope that future students have as a rewarding experience as I had there. And I'd like to end by saying happy 100th anniversary and long may it continue. Chin chin. Oh, that will need filling up.